Welcome to my 2024 Reading Wrapped. My goals for this year were to read 45 books, to read more books written by women, books written by people that don't look anything like me, and more books written about places I've never been. The results of those goals, I finished 72 books. 62 of them were written by women. 19 were written by people of color, and 27 were written about places I've never been. I didn't include fantasy books here just because I don't think anybody's had the pleasure of being at Hogwarts, but like actual places. This is the breakdown of the genres I read. Absolutely no surprise that thriller is at the top, as well as like literary fiction, historical fiction. Those are definitely my favorites. But I've definitely discovered a love of fantasy, and I'm hoping to continue to explore that in 2025. I wanted to break down the mediums. I'm definitely somebody who believes an audiobook is a book, but I know not everyone feels that way. I read 35 books via like audio format, and then I read 33 physically and 4 with my Kindle. I just purchased my Kindle like halfway through December, so it's definitely the lowest this year, but I have a feeling it's going to be much higher in 2025. Oop, skipped one. These are the star ratings I gave out. I would say overwhelmingly, it was a great year. Most of my books got 3s or above. We did have a couple rough ones up there, but overall, I think 2024 really was a good reading year for me. And then books finished per month. January, I think I might have worn myself out trying to reach my goal in 2023. So I think January I was just burnt out and I finished 0 books in January. And then I, steadily went up from there. Had a peak in August for whatever reason, which is really weird because I traveled several times in August. So I don't know, maybe all that airport time got me to 10. And the only month to surpass that was this month of December, which I think was a little bit of a cheat because I did get my Kindle this month and had access to Kindle Unlimited where I read 2 short stories this month. So, but overall, I'm surprised and impressed with how many books I got through each month. And then this is a breakdown of how I obtained all the books that I read this year. Of course, most of them I purchased new, but did have a good chunk that came from Libby. And then also super thankful to have been gifted and borrowed several books. My highlights for this year were that I finished 27 more books than I had set out to read. I read from 12 genres, read 8 5-star books, discovered Libby, which I know I'm late to the game, but absolutely am obsessed now and hoping to really take more advantage next year. I reread the entire Harry Potter series with my mom, 1 chapter a day, and that did my soul so much good. This was incredibly nostalgic for me. I also joined a book club, which has been an absolute pleasure, and I've made some new bookish friends through that, so couldn't be happier with that decision. And my best friend moved to a different state last year, and this year we were able to co-read 2 books together, so that was super fun. And lastly, my goals for next year. I get a little weird, as you can see, made an entire PowerPoint about my numbers and statistics. So I didn't want to set a goal for myself numbers-wise this year, but decided to go with some more abstract things. I want to borrow and thrift more books instead of purchasing them brand new. I want to explore some nonfiction because I read a whopping total of 0 nonfiction books this year. And stop forcing myself to finish books I'm not enjoying. There were several books this year that I knew from the first 50 pages were just not for me, but I forced myself to finish because I grew up in the era of if you start something, you've got to finish. And life is just too short for that. If I don't enjoy the book, I need to set it aside and move on to something I will enjoy. So Anyways, thanks for watching.